And we're live. Hi, everybody. Kate's laughing. I'm always laughing. It's me. Hi, Sonia. Welcome to the Our Turf Podcast. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. It's tacos, and it's time to talk football. Although we don't have tacos on here. Maybe we should one day. But we can't because Donkey sponsors us. And they have some of the best looking cheesesteaks, and I've heard some of the best tasting cheesesteaks ever in life. Thank you so much to Donkeys for sponsoring us this season. We always appreciate it. And thanks for the merch. Reach out to Donkeys. They are great.
3 locations.
3 locations. That's right. Where are they?
Camden.
Yep.
Mount Holly.
Yep.
And Medford.
Got it.
I always do them out of order because Lisa always does like Camden, Medford, and then she can't remember Mount Holly. And so I try to make sure I get that one in.
Exactly. And always when I'm doing my promos, I like to switch it up just to keep the old brain sharp.
Yeah.
We also have our friend Michelle joining us this evening. We love Michelle.
Did you have a nice bye week?
I did. I enjoyed myself.
You did.
Stress-free football.
Isn't that the greatest?
It is.
I'm going to be quite honest and share this little tidbit of me with you guys. Like, that's kind of why I like it when the Lions don't make it to the playoffs, because it's stress-free football. And I can just watch and enjoy and just, yeah. But that's just me.
We've had a lot of years of stress-free football.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
hang on. I think Lisa's trying to get in. There she is.
Farmer Lisa. We're going to hear roosters clucking in the background and goats goating. What do goats say? I don't know what goats say.
Bah.
Tom Brady looked like the goat for about 2 minutes on Sunday. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, you are right.
I was like, what, did someone finally tell him we were talking trash about him on the show last week and he decided to show up for the last drive? Nice, because I had to pick him up for my quarterback because both of mine on my fantasy football league were on a bye. And then I picked up Tannehill, who was questionable. And I'm like, crap, the only person left was Brady. I'm like, when have you ever seen Brady available to pick up on a Sunday during the season? I think Dana had dropped him. I got him.
My
I didn't do
entire
nothing until the last 2 minutes.
Team scored 55 points. My whole team scored 55 points.
Michelle.
I lost to a guy who had 3 people on a bye that he still had in his starting lineup. That's how bad one of my teams was this week.
I won this week because Wanda left Justin Fields on the bench. You know how much Justin Fields scored? 55 points, Michelle.
Oh, yeah. She's on next week, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
We don't have to bring that up. How does she, the queen of the Bears, leave Justin Fields on her bench?
Right, because she would have taken me out if she had
right. He's probably been killing her team. So the one week she benches him, he plays well.
Exactly.
But that always happens, right? You got a guy that you start him. He's just not doing anything. So you're like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to put DJ Moore in, or I'm going to put in this other guy, and then your guy blows up. And you're like, I feel like a jinx. I always want to send apology letters to some of these teams. I'm sorry I picked your team to win, and it didn't go well, and it's all me. Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
How are you,
How are
Lisa?
you? It's been a minute.
She having technical difficulties. She ain't been out with Michelle in a minute.
Exactly.
Never, ever. Not
never, ever.
Year. Not this year.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, you've been on.
I would just like to say that I, for one, am glad Dana's not here because that means we don't have to play the hat game. Because I'm done with the hat. I don't want to play the hat game ever again.
It's the best.
It's brutal. It's brutal. The teams we got left.
I know the teams we got left is going to be kind of tough, but it's okay.
For those of you watching who might be new, Dana put the names of all 32 teams in a hat. She pulls them out randomly and assigns them to whoever's on the show that week, and we have to come up with reasons why they are going to the Super Bowl. They don't have to win.
No, they just have
to get there. And it's been very easy for some teams and very difficult for other teams. Lisa, we cannot hear you if you're talking. Let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes.
While we're waiting for Lisa to figure out her.
Because my goodness, you guys. What happened? What happened?
I heard Jeff Saturday got hired before I heard that Frank Reich got fired. I was
Seriously?
like, wait, they hired him to be like a line coach? And then I'm looking, I'm like, oh, crap, they fired him. Like, it was that quick.
Wow.
The interim head coach announcement. Mm-hmm. Peyton's defending the choice. I mean, he played with them, right?
Right.
It'll be interesting. We talked about them last week and that we thought he was on the hot seat and that who's their quarterback? Matt Ryan, who's already been benched.
Their quarterback.
Because he ain't doing nothing.
Now it's Sammy E.
I figured it was a whole suck for luck situation that they were just going to ride it out and take their 2 wins or 1 win into the draft and get them a new quarterback. They don't have years on anybody, so the move was very surprising to me. It'll be interesting to see what Jeff Saturday can do. I would just like to thank all the national media people who thought it was funny to say things like an NFL team hired a high school football coach to be in charge of their team and it wasn't the Browns. Thank you. Apparently that's a Browns thing. I'm like, no, it wasn't us.
No. And the reason why was because Mr. Israel liked his lack of experience. And that reminds me of something that a Ford owner once said about a GM having a lack of experience. And we all know how that worked out. Hopefully it doesn't work out as firestormy as the Lions did at that era, but who knows?
So I think he's gonna need help with things like clock management, timeouts, when to throw the flag. He's gonna need people in the booth talking to him for actual game time things. But I think when it comes to locker room things, I hear you, Lisa. Locker room things, dealing with players, talking to, motivating, those kind of things. I think he brings that player mentality that they may connect with, and he may be able to handle that side of things. I just worry about his actual in-game performance being his first time on a sideline as an NFL head coach. It's going to be interesting.
Very
interesting. At least we're talking about Jeff Saturday taking over in Indy.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, especially when you have several coaches on your coaching staff that had either have interim head coaches or have some head coaching experience. I think Benville, the Seattle guy's on there. Reggie Wayne, is a wide receiver. He's been coaching there for a while. So It's just kind of interesting. And I heard it basically was just because of the personal friendship between him and Irsay. And, I just think that he's just a plug right now. But we'll see what he does. It'll be interesting. Hey, offensive line will certainly get attention.
Something.
I was just thinking, and I don't know why I just thought of this just now, but I wonder how many offensive linemen have been elevated to head coach. Although how many former offensive linemen have been head coaches? I can't really think of too many.
I don't know, but I will write that down and I will find that stat for us. That'll be our new segment is what bizarre stat do you want Kate to look up this week? And then I'll come back next week. So you'll have to come back and watch our show next week to get the answer to that.
Exactly. Michelle, what are your thoughts on the situation?
I think it was disappointing. I'm disappointed in like everybody. Frank's always been a stand-up guy. And maybe he lost his can. He probably cursed Irsay out or something because, the guy has had a different quarterback every year. Andrew Luck retires unexpectedly. There's been a different quarterback in all 4 of his years. Every year has been someone different. And he's done pretty well. They were 10-6 and 2019, but they had a great 2020 season. They weren't that bad last year, probably disappointing coming from 2020. But I just think that, he has to play who's on the team, right? And so look at the quarterbacks that they gave him. Matt Ryan, which I didn't understand. I know Matt Ryan wasn't playing well and they benched him, but whose decision was it to put in the young quarterback when they have Nick Foles on the roster as well? So, so once they made that move, you're saying, okay, well, they don't really care about the season. And if they don't care about the season, but I think it may come out later on. I know people say it was on hot seat, but we say this all the time in the NFL. You can have one great season and the next year you can have a bad season and you're on the hot seat. So I just think, I don't know. I just think it was kind of unfortunate considering their quarterback situation and some of the other things. So, we'll see what Jeff, everybody loves Jeff Saturday. So, I think it, especially in Colts in Indianapolis. So He may or may not be able to coach, and I don't think that's important right now. I think they just want a locker room motivator, and maybe he's the one. So we'll see.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor was supposed to be carrying this team, right? Injured, and that took that whole running dynamic away. And I think when you sign a Matt Ryan or a Nick Foles and you tell them we're going to have a running game, look at what we got here, the pressure's not going to all be on you, and then he's hurt. Now poor little Sam Erlinger or whatever his name is is playing. I don't know if I don't think it's a suck for luck situation. There are too many bad teams, right? You got the Texans with 1 win, the Raiders with 2 wins. Indy's got 3. So you've got the Broncos, Indy, my Browns. Hell, the Steelers only have 2, and that's just in the AFC. I mean, they got 3 wins. They're almost out of the top 5. So
right.
It feels like it's a little premature to be tanking the season. I don't know what they're doing. It'll be an interesting thing to watch as it progresses. I'll say that. I loved Jeff Saturday as a player, and you're right. That offensive line is going to get their stuff together.
Yeah, they are.
They are,
and that's what's interesting about it. But you got to think that as far as like you're talking about the season and where we are now, it's obvious Indy waved the white flag this season. I mean, obviously, letting Frank go, and which is a strange Irsay move. Usually he's one of the smarter owners that understands the game and understands that, obviously, he's had 4 different quarterbacks. How many offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators have come in and out the door? It's a revolving door. But it just kind of goes to show you just how important a good quarterback is.
And I'm glad you did mention offensive coordinators, because them losing Nick is probably been the difference maker in that offense. With him being in Philly now. So.
Exactly. And oh gosh, what was I going to say? Their center though, who is it? Quentin Nelson? Wasn't he their like superstar center? The Colts like this year? I thought he's not injured, right? I know. I should be looking. I didn't think so either. Okay, cool. I just wanted to double check that. I was like, I couldn't find it, but I don't think he's injured. But anyways, it's been a lot of change. I for one was very surprised that they pulled him this early. I was surprised that it was Jeff Saturday from everybody loves him, but it was just a shock.
I mean, I'm looking at their depth chart and everything, right now on the NFL website. Quentin Nelson's fine, but they've got Matt Ryan listed as questionable, Jonathan Taylor questionable. They've got a ton of players on IR. Wide receiver Ashton Doolin, tight end Ogletree, right guard O'Donnell. If I head over to their defense, Tyquan Lewis, Trevor Denbo, Armani Watts. I mean, they got a bunch of injuries. They had punter issues. Good Lord. It's just
a kicker issue.
Their depth chart has more people on IR than it has starting and injured, and that doesn't help either, right? You can't get anything going. The only question for me right now is I don't think that there's anything Jeff Saturday can do to keep this job. I think it's just a fun friend, wink, wink, nudge, nudge thing. It's at some point we're going to have to start talking about who they're going to go after. Who are they going to interview? Because the only reason you get rid of a coach at this point in the season, in my opinion, is because you want to promote somebody to head coach now and avoid all that Rooney Rule stuff that you have to do at the end of the year, or you want to get a leg up on people that are going to go after someone else that you might want. You could make a bid for a college coach if you could get him to leave early and not finish his season. And I don't know, it's so early, we haven't really talked about who the hot candidates are. Is Steve Wilkes going to keep that job in Carolina? And I'm sure we're going to see some more coaches getting fired in the next couple weeks. So it'll be interesting to see who they end up with, because I don't think there's anything Saturday can do to keep that job and become their head coach. So it'll be interesting to see what they do when, how they go about hiring someone.
It's they're getting a head start. And then I obviously the coaching carousel is starting early this year. Usually it's just like that Black Monday, but nope, it's starting early. So
I would be that type of owner. I would be that owner
to just get them out. You're done?
I would, because like I said, I'd want to step up. I mean, when coaches out there like Sean Payton and stuff like that I'd like to kind of start early. So, I mean, it's a plug and play right now with Jeff Saturday, and you start thinking about names, you start thinking about quarterbacks, you start thinking about where Indy's going to be at the pick. You know, what's sexy about that job right now?
Nothing.
Honestly, the only thing I can tell you is probably you're going to have a pretty early pick. You got some pretty good studs coming out at quarterback. So whoever does end up coaching there should have a say in which way the draft's going to go with them, unless you're going to keep Ballard. I mean, that was kind of interesting to me. You know, Jeff, like I think Michelle hit it. Frank was the fall guy. Let's be honest. I mean, you can't, but Ballard sits there pretty in his office like he's done nothing wrong. I mean, what have you done right, bro? And you still have your job. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of a weird situation in the front offices to me. Why are you keeping your GM?
Well, I don't know. As a player, what motivates you to give 100%? Your paycheck is what it is.
Right.
Your head coach has been fired. They brought this guy in from high school. Like, I get that he has NFL experience, and so hopefully with the linemen, the offensive linemen, maybe the defensive linemen, there's a core group of guys that he's going to resonate with. But there have to be people on that team who feel like ownership has just given up on them. And why should I play injured? And why should I go all out unless I'm trying to put up film for another team to get me? To go somewhere else? It's just, I don't know. I can't imagine what that's like. It's got to be difficult, though.
It does.
I agree.
It very much so does.
I'm looking at these teams with 1, 2, and 3 wins, and I'm trying to figure out who the next coach is to go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Nobody's jumping out at me. I mean, if the Broncos are going to ride or die with what's his name, now that they got him some help, he seems to be doing a little better. Josh McDaniels is Raiders, right? He's in his first year there.
Mm-hmm.
Lovie Smith's in Houston. I don't think they're going to get rid of him. Jacksonville just hired. They got rid of Urban Meyer last year, which I understood because he was causing problems in the locker room, and that was a whole mess. I don't know. I'm looking at some of these. I don't think the Browns are ready to get rid of Stefanski. I sure know the Steelers aren't ready to get rid of Tomlin. Even with only 2 wins. I'm not sure who's on the hot seat. Maybe it's not a matter of wins and losses, but a matter of, expectations and potential. I mean, I love Ron Rivera, but the Washington Commanders have 4 wins, and they were expected to do a much better job this season.
Yeah.
You got Green Bay with 3, Chicago with 3, and Detroit with 2. The Falcons with 4. I mean, the whole NFC South is a hot mess. I mean, there's just a lot of teams with 3 wins. Cardinals, is the Cliff Kingsbury experiment over? Are we done with? Because apparently we're not done with the Taysom Hill experiment, and I would like to be done with that. And now there's the Cliff Kingsbury experiment. I got to figure Arizona ownership is wondering, they thought they'd be doing much better than being in the basement of that division. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see what criteria these owners use to get rid of some coaches as we move forward.
Agreed.
But I think the AFC East is safe.
You think so?
I think
all
so.
Coaches are safe for now. Although that's where expectations, I think, have risen for a lot of teams that I didn't have expectations for. I'll say that.
That's for sure.
I saw an interesting statistic, I think, from our friend Graham, that the Buffalo Bills are the only team leading their division that does not have a division win.
Yes.
Their 2 losses were both division games.
They were. But those 2 losses were also they were also away from the confines of Buffalo's stadium.
They were road games.
They were very much so.
It's hard to win in Buffalo in December unless you're Buffalo. So
right now
those 2 teams are going to come to their place in the fall, in the winter.
Yeah, but it depends on that shoulder on Josh Allen too. Those UCB joints, UCL, whatever joint he has, that those could be some serious injuries.
UCLA
Should they be sitting him now?
I like the UCLA
sitting him now for a couple weeks and getting him 100%.
I would. I mean, especially how he runs and comes out of that pocket. I mean, and I think it'd be kind of hard to hold somebody. I mean, look at Tua when he came out and said, I'm gonna make smarter decisions. He was sliding, running all over the place. Come on,
he was dropping his shoulder.
Exactly. You think you're gonna corral a Josh Allen in a game and say, okay, we'll start you, but protect that shoulder? That's not going to happen. Josh is 110% in that game. He'll launch himself. So, I don't know. What do you do with that? That's a good question, because it's like you're in the heart of a division right now. The Jets, Dolphins, and the Bills right now, and the
right
Patriots.
there.
You can't sleep on the Patriots. Don't sleep
Never.
on Belichick. So
they host the Vikings this week.
Woo.
And then they host the Browns. Like, if you could rest Josh this week and somehow get a win against the Vikings, you could rest him against the Browns and still get a win there. This is like the right little bit of a section if they want to get him, make sure he's healthy for a run at the end. Then they got Cleveland, then they go to Detroit, then they got the Patriots. They got a month before they get the Jets again.
Detroit's a hard-hitting team.
Maybe
boy.
you keep a good eye on him against the Vikings, who have been very surprising to me this year. Surprising good.
7-1.
Unfortunately, I don't think that they can afford to rest him with how tight this AFC East is. So this is in any given Sunday. So there is no resting for him because they have no cushion. That loss to the Dolphins earlier, and the loss to the Jets, and everybody's just like, anybody can win this division right now. I personally think that the Dolphins are the best team.
I knew I liked her.
I actually think that the Super Bowl. This is me now. The Super Bowl. I think that the Super Bowl is coming from the East, and when I say the East, I mean the AFC and the NFC. Those are the two best conferences right now.
Well, now you're bold.
The divisions. I'm just telling you the two. If I had to pick who is the best two teams right now, and this far in the season, it would be the Eagles and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are undefeated with Tua at quarterback, and the Eagles are undefeated, period. And those, to me, look like the best two teams.
Well, and what's the backstory on that, right? Always like is the Eagles got a shot at going undefeated, and the last time that happened, that was the Dolphins. They won a Super Bowl. If he could actually go undefeated, then meet the Dolphins and lose to them in the Super Bowl, the storylines. I will say this: Buffalo has the right backup quarterback, Case Keenum, who has played in Minnesota, who understands them, who has played in Cleveland, who is a very good backup quarterback. He played a couple games in Cleveland when Baker was hurt and beat the Broncos on Thursday Night Football.
True.
And got some wins. Should have stayed in longer so Baker could get hurt. I know I've said that before. Or could get healthy. But if you had to have a backup that you had to put in for one or two games, because what you can't afford is to put Josh Allen in against Minnesota and have him get hurt to where he now needs surgery and he's done for the season.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It'd be interesting to see what happens.
Aside from
Josh
Minnesota,
Allen will play on Sunday.
You've got Cleveland
I think so
and Detroit and the Patriots. They need to keep an eye on him. And if Case needs to come in, they need to not be afraid to let him come in and just manage that game. Because I think he's the right backup that can do that. I would trust him over Blaine Gabbert or some of these other backups that we have in the league now. I would trust Case Keenum to get me one or two wins if I need to keep him safe.
I agree with you that he should sit. I'm just looking at the records and these owners that just think about Dallas, and we put Cooper Rush in, and nobody expected Cooper to win all those games, but the fact that he did just meant that we could just sit. But but
that's his job, right? That's the job as a backup. You don't get no aspirations of grandeur. This ain't your starting job. I need you to come in and go 2 out of 3 until Dude comes back, and then once Dude's back, you go back to sitting on the bench. And Case has the mentality for that. He knows he's a backup quarterback. He knows his job. His job is to manage the game and to keep things going. Don't make mistakes and just hold the place until Josh can come back. I don't want to be that I told you so person. I don't want to be sitting here next Tuesday saying, I told you to sit Josh, but he broke his shoulder and his whole arm fell off and he's out for the season. Because I don't want that to happen. Because he'll just strap it back on and he'll be like, let me out there. So it's player safety. We talk about this all the time. We talk about it with Tua, them putting him in too fast. You need to look at the whole season, not just the individual weeks. And they've still got 4 division games. they can lose to Minnesota and be a game back of the Jets and the Dolphins, and still they have 4 more division games left. They've still got time to get those wins and get back up. But if they lose Josh Allen for the season, I love Case for a couple of weeks. I don't love him for the run. He ain't getting you through the playoffs into the Super Bowl.
Nope.
So that's just me. I'm a risk manager girl.
UCL injury.
I like
injury.
that.
I knew it was
I
something
love
like
it.
that.
You got a UCL?
The UCLA injury.
But
There you go.
it says he's being evaluated in next 24 hours to tell. It says right elbow injury to the UCL and related nerves. So you're also looking at some nerve issues going on there.
I mean, he needs to sit.
I still don't know what a Liz
all
Frank
in
injury
agreement.
is. Every time someone says they got a Liz Frank injury, I think about those notebooks we had in high school with all the different colored things on it. I'm like, I don't know what a Liz Frank injury is, but
I'm going to look that one up and let you know for sure what that one is.
yeah, I'm old. That'll be your research assignment for this
That'll
week.
be my research assignment, is to look up a Liz Frank. But I agree 1,000%. But I think the hardest thing is going to be is to tell him to sit and not play, because he is a gamer, like all of our silly quarterbacks are, and they want to be out there and they want to play, and especially with this team because everything is going so right. So
Exactly.
It's going to be hard for him.
And that's what we all talk about. It's like you got Minnesota coming in, then the Browns. It's a tough decision, and you've got all these AFC East teams breathing down your neck coming after you.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
Yep.
Agreed.
But I like the division in general. I think this is one of the few where they're all good, right? We talk about the NFC South where they've all got like 3 wins. And it's like this whole division sucks. This is one where we got 6, 6, 6, and 5. And
everybody's right there.
Everybody's
It's
right there.
right there.
It's anybody's division.
And I will say this, I did not see that coming out of this, our pick'em show. I did not see this division being as tight as it was, or as it is right now. I didn't see that.
I think we all thought the Jets were going to be a little better than they were last year, but none of us thought they were going to have 6 wins at this point in the season and be tied for the lead in the division. I didn't think they'd be that good. They've won some games. They've gotten very lucky. They've won some games. And we'll talk about my game where you're down against the Browns, down by 13 points with 2 minutes left, and you win. I mean, it's, they've had some things fall their way, but the last couple of weeks they have played good, solid football. They played a good game against the Bills and earned every minute of that 3-point win. So, I mean, it's not a fluke. They're good.
It also came off an ugly loss to the Patriots. That
they did. And I love Robert Saleh, so maybe I'm just giving him more credit because he was one of my favorite coaching hires that year, and I just love him, and I think he's got a way with these guys. So we'll see if that winning fixes everything, right? If they keep winning, the players think they can win.
It's going to fall back on Wilson because, like I said, you have to have a consistent quarterback. You can't come and play like you did against the Patriots and then have a good game and then come the next week and play like you did against the Patriots. So,
and here's the thing. The Jets beat both the Dolphins and the Bills. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
But then you lose to the Patriots. But then some of it's a divisional thing. It's a Bill Belichick thing. He's in your head thing. The Patriots do weird things in their division with or without Brady. They've always had a way in the division.
Yep.
They have.
That's why I said it's you see them sitting at the bottom and it's like no big deal because it's some of the best football they play is in November and December. And that's usually what always matters is they always seem to drop a couple. And even when Brady was there about this junction, we'd always say, is Brady washed up? Oh, they lost a couple games to the Jets. It's no big deal to them because in November, December, they're almost undefeated. And then all of a sudden they just rise to the top of the division. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's very crazy. It's insane. Okay, guys, I want to go back because I want to go back just a little bit. When we talked about Ron Rivera being on the hot seat at the Washington Commanders. You guys, they said they're going to sell. The Snyders are going to potentially sell this team.
Selling that team.
I'm going to buy Powerball tickets. I'm going to win that 1.9 whatever billion, and I'll buy them.
I'll put in $5.
All right, I'll let you in for that. You all in for $5?
Yeah, I'm in for $5. I can do that. You guys, are they selling? What's going on? I think they just might be. And if they are, whatever is going on in there, it's rotten. How bad is it that you're ready to sell it instead of just opening it up and just letting whatever happen?
Well, the only thing I know is that if Matthew McConaughey wants the team, just let him have it. Just sell it to him, and I'll be excited.
All right.
Because I hear that he's interested in buying the team. So, this is probably an owner who should have been forced out. We've had some owners in different sports forced out of their ownership, and this is definitely one of them. And I'm not just saying that because how I feel about the W, but this is probably one of those owners that need to go. But it also shows you who's actually in control. I know Roger Goodell gets booed, and every time everybody sees he's not in control. These are his bosses. And these are the people who are running the league. And I think Dan has something on everybody because
this is the NFL mafia right here.
Yes.
NFL mafia right here.
He basically said they can't do anything to me. I I own everybody. So, I guess he's going to tell it all. He almost said the same thing about the NFL that Kanye said about Adidas.
Wow.
But maybe it may end the same way.
I don't know. They've hired Bank of America to be, to broker the sale and to entertain offers and vet people and all that. Well, I think the idea of Matthew McConaughey buying the team is fun. I think they need a serious owner with credentials to get some respect back on that team. They need somebody, Peyton Manning. They need somebody somebody with a name that people recognize, but a name that people will respect. That knows
Marshawn
football,
Lynch. Because
the moral compass of that team is not good. I know y'all keep laughing. That's okay. I see you. I'm just going to keep talking.
We can't help it because it's like she said, Marshawn Lynch. The first thing I said, could you imagine the F-bombs as he's all rocketing in the thing?
The press conferences would be a good time. I would sign up for the press conferences. No comment. I'm only sitting here because I get a $10,000 fine if I don't sit here. It would be hilarious. No, I think they need someone with some credibility if they want to turn that team around. It can't just be a money grab for, as Michelle calls them, Dan and Tan. The NFL, the other owners, right? The other 31 have to understand that what's going on in Washington diminishes their brand.
Yeah.
Right.
For a lot of fans. And
it just seems like it's washed up to me anyway. It seems like this team is just nobody respects them. Nobody, even fan base wise, they've lost so much. Name because of the
let's
name
move
change.
them to London. Let's move them to Germany. Let's make them the Euro
I'd
team.
almost say that would be
move them over
issue.
there. Let
that
them
would
start
be
over.
To think about because, like I said, it used to be. At this point, when are you a Dan Snyder? And say, you know what? I've had enough anyway. Jesus, how much more can you take if you're an owner of this crap?
I think Dan just wants to leave. Like, I don't know. He doesn't want them to force him out. If he's leaving,
right.
He wants to be in control of that.
He wants to go on his own terms.
He's going to sell the team. That makes it look like this is my decision. I want to be out of here. And he never wanted to change the name of the team. And I think that probably started it all because he still wanted to be the Redskins. I mean, they could be, the football team. He probably should have left it at that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this is an opportunity to move a team to Europe. And they play the first 8 games in Europe, home games. People go there. They come here week 9 on a bye, and then they're on the road for 8 games.
Well, what division are they going to be in?
And you get a whole new fan base. They want a team in Europe anyway.
The NFC East still.
No, they can't. We can't. They can't be our rivals way out there. Well, who's going to that game?
You're going to that game.
They can. We're everywhere. Yeah, they can.
Graham doesn't want them in London. So
They'd be a whole new team, Graham. They would have new owners. They would be starting from scratch. I was hoping
says
Ron
the guy wearing the
Rivera would have more
jersey.
of an impact as a person on this team, and it hasn't worked. Unless he can come up with the money to buy him. He can talk to Byron Allen, and they can come in. He can become an owner, and maybe that would be better. I don't know. But I completely agree with Michelle. I think he's really going to entertain offers to sell because I think he wants to go out on his own terms before he is somehow forced out.
Exactly. I think 1,000% that because he's got too much of an ego, and like you said, this is kind of like a little mafia. He has something on everybody.
He does. And Lisa, I like Graham's number 8 Culpepper jersey. Don't.
I can't.
I know you can't. Graham, Lisa just can't.
You gotta get a new picture, bro. You gotta get a new jersey.
I would say Lisa could send him a new jersey, but we know how that would go.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. Nice shirt, Sonia.
That'll keep him in his Culpepper jersey because you know he'll never get it.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Oh, is Camden watching today? She must think that's her shirt you're wearing. She needs a straight out of Camden one.
She does. Camden, you
right? Straight out of Camden.
Camden's not watching it today, I don't think.
Hi to all the people in the chat. We love chatting with our people.
I think that's Rob's store. You got Rob's store,
chat.
Camden.
You can't see the chat, Michelle.
Well, that's because we're in StreamYard and the chat's on YouTube. So you got to open YouTube on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't keep track of it. So I let Sonia or Dana or whoever's in charge of the show do it. And then they put the fun comments up down here. We had a couple problems because Dana had to read some comments because people use some grown-up language that we were trying not to put on the screen. So she had to edit a couple comments. So as long as y'all keep them clean, we'll put them up there.
Exactly. We totally will because we love interacting.
I don't care. Let it fly. We'll put them up there.
Lisa, we can't. We are a family-friendly show. Thank you.
I'll go on Marshawn F. and Lynch.
Oh, gosh.
Lisa spent too much time in Florida.
She has.
She spent too much time with the goats.
I got coyote problems. I got coyote problems now.
She's got coyote problems. Oh,
seriously? We don't have a coyote team in the NFL. That's hockey. We don't talk hockey.
We don't talk hockey that often, but we do sell hockey gears if you click on our
our Fanatics link and get your hockey gear.
Yeah, you can get hockey gear on your Fanatics link. So you can do that because we support all sports. We just don't really talk hockey. Just saying.
All right. Listen, before we go, can we just ask Michelle what's going on with the Cowboys?
Michelle, what's going on with the Cowboys?
What happened? We've been on a bye week. We're chilling.
I know. Are they coming back strong? Do I put Dak back? Do I put your boy Dakota back in my lineup as starting quarterback? Is your defense
OBJ
for real?
Coming?
That defense has been insane. Are they for real? Are they going to carry the whole season?
They're trying. They're trying. You could put Dakota back in the lineup. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can put Dakota back. Who do we play Green Bay when we come back? And I know Aaron eats us alive. I mean, he has eaten us alive for the longest. We owe him a butt whipping. And I'm hoping that we can pull this out because I swear that
Could
man
you please just once for me?
I know, and you know how I love Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, I hope our defense is playing well. Right now though, I don't feel like we are playing well enough to beat the Eagles. That's just what I see. I think our defense is there. The offense is the issue for me sometimes, and more so the offensive play calls and things like that. And so the running backs, I mean, we have a lot of people talking about whether we should start Pollock instead of Zeke, and we've been saying that for like 4 or 5 years now. Mm-hmm. I think that if you watch the Cowboys game, Pollock plays an awful lot. I mean, he sometimes seems to play more than Zeke. If Zeke is having a good game, they let him play. But if he's not, Pollock's in there. They just put Zeke back in when they get to close to the end zone and let him score.
It seems to be situational.
And messing up my fantasy football because I have Pollard. So, but yeah, they I think we're looking pretty good. Of course, we're a much better team with Dakota at quarterback. Our receivers, though, I think that the change, and I said that from the moment you guys had me on here, from before we even started the season, that letting Amari Cooper go, and with that receiving course, they're young, and we put all of our marbles in with CeeDee Lamb and Gallup, who was injured, so you don't know how he's going to come back, and he still was a pretty young receiver at the time. Then his replacement was Cedric Wilson, who's with the Dolphins now, but he played well in the Cowboys system, but you also let him go. You pick up someone from Pittsburgh, he gets injured, but this is a new receiver, so you know, they just don't seem to be gelling the offense how they need. Then Dakota gets hurt, so then he misses 3 or 4 games. And so, it's just gonna be interesting to see how they play and how they play Philadelphia with Dak behind center. We had an opportunity. I think we came back some, but they kind of drove down the field easily on our defense. And that's what I was looking at, more so the defense than the offense. So
is that the key to this game? Is the key to this game the defense stopping Philly, or is it your offense getting points on the board?
When we play Philly again, which is on Christmas, I think Christmas Eve or something like that. I think it's a little of both. I think it's more for me because the defense has been carrying us and they've been playing well. I want to see how the defense can contain Jalen Hurts. And right now that offense is clicking on all cylinders and he's making all of the right decisions. And they had some spurts in the game previously where they kind of one thing I do notice is that the adjustments are being made at halftime where we didn't have that before. And so that's what I appreciate. So I think those are the key, but we need the offense. Field goals are not going to win that game. We're going to have to score touchdowns, and we still struggle when we get into the red zone. And so that's going to be the key is can we not depend so much on our kicker, but that the offense can put points on the board.
One job.
Is there anybody on the schedule that can beat Philly? Because I'm saying y'all's division has the easiest schedule of any division in the NFL. Is there anybody?
I mean, that's what
Philly?
People are saying, but our division. We're not just winning against our division this year. So I mean, this division now we're beating everybody outside of the division. I mean, Philly's 8-0, Dallas 6-2, the Giants are 6-2. So and Washington's 4-5. So we have a good conference record, not just a division record, and so that's going to help when it comes down to the playoffs. Is both Dallas and Philly and New York keep playing as they're doing outside of the division, then it's possible the NFC East, who everybody claims is the worst division in football, may have 2 teams in the playoffs this year, and so I think that. The schedule is what the schedule is, because they give you the schedule based on how teams performed last year. I just think that a lot of teams suck this year. And
nobody's the schedule.
Yeah, nobody's really playing. No, people are not really playing well. And I think it takes about 4 or 5 games for our teams to start looking like themselves.
Can Odell Beckham help this team?
I don't. You know how I am about divas. I don't really like divas. I've never been a fan of him. Yes, he probably could. I mean, but again, where is he? What is he? When is he gonna? What is he gonna do? When is he gonna play? Whose spot is he gonna? Who are they gonna? Because we're gonna get Washington back. He's who we got from Pittsburgh. He should be ready to play in the next couple of weeks. So Jerry, I don't pay. I said this the last time. We don't listen to Jerry. Jerry just likes to talk. You know how Michael Jackson just used to create stories sometimes just to keep his name out there in between his albums. That's what Jerry does. Jerry just goes on and say things so people can keep writing stuff.
Jerry's world.
Yeah, and he has if he was going to get Odell Beckham, we would already have him. He would be on the roster. He's just talking.
I mean, I'm looking at the Eagles' schedule, Lisa. They got Washington and then the Colts, the Packers, the Titans, the Giants, Bears, Cowboys, Saints, Giants. I don't know if the Giants have a chance to beat them or if it's going to be one of those weird things where, the Saints with 3 wins or the Colts with one of those teams that everyone's like, this will be an easy one and this will be a pushover, and they come loaded for bear.
I would not be surprised if the Bears beat them. They get them at home, and they get Chicago in Chicago. I mean, and if Justin Fields and Christian Claypool, if they, it could be pretty nasty.
Yeah, they'll be coming off of a game against the Giants, and then they'll be looking forward to. You were right. They got the Cowboys on Christmas Eve, and then the Saints on New Year's Day, and then the Giants again. They may overlook the Bears.
In Dallas, we played them in Philly the first game. So,
Okay, so
in Dallas and Philly, not last year, but we split our seasons a lot. Dallas split the season.
You're right. They might overlook the Bears.
I'm looking at Dallas.
Worrying about the rest of the season.
Yeah,
Dallas, Green Bay, and Tennessee are the only teams that possibly have. But Green Bay is looks so bad this year. Tennessee is iffy. You don't know, and I think right now is Dallas. That can be their only one loss if that can happen. Not they may be able to go into the playoffs undefeated. If they keep playing like they're playing, I can see them going into the playoffs undefeated.
Mm-hmm. And our friend Graham is calling it right now. Mark it.
Okay, Graham.
Right, let me get a screenshot.
Get the screenshot.
Beat the Eagles.
All right.
All right, I got it. I get to snippet.
All right, locked for prosperity.
So Graham has written it, so let it be done.
Ten Commandments.
Somebody got to beat them. The champagne's on ice in Miami. Them old Dolphins can't have another undefeated
the Dolphins
team.
don't care if you go undefeated in the regular season. I mean, the Patriots did that. They got to win the Super Bowl. So
finish it.
Right. The
Patriots. I'm saying it would be so cool if they actually faced the Dolphins in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And did I not just say that's the champion? They're coming from the East. And those are my two predictions right there, those two teams.
I haven't heard anyone talk about the NFC least or the AFC least this year because those divisions have both. They're both studs. They're both on fire. We've run late again. Dana's on vacation or she'll yell at us.
I gotta bounce.
That's okay. She gotta go to work. You guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
Lisa, so good to see you.
Good seeing you. Good seeing you finally.
Yes. See y'all next
week. Farm.
Yes, you have to come visit her farm and eat the eggs from her chickens.
Old Lisa McDonald and her goats.
Yeah.
And her coyotes.
Well, I'm looking forward to Kansas City, so I guess I'll get to see everybody.
Yes, you see us all.
A draft party in Kansas City.
Yes, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah. NFL. Did you hear what I almost did? I almost did something bad.
You was about to say
I was going to do the whole thing, and I'm like, it's in my head now. It's like, it's like we're going to have a live draft party, NFL. Oh, no.
I need a new shirt, our turf football shirt.
I'll send you one.
Okay. Sure, Jan. All right, you guys. We got to get up out of here. Lisa's got to go to work. I got to eat pizza. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye, Graham.
Bye, George. Bye, everybody that watched and chatted with us.
Subscribe to our YouTube. Peace out.
Up there.
Deuces.